prepare because nothing is pre-manufactured. It's always done by hand, it's always done lovingly, or at least should be done lovingly, and with the utmost of care. Because when you talk about feeding your temple and nourishing yourself as we move into this new time dispensation, it is so important that we honor our body temples in recognizing that we are the awakening of the gods and the goddesses. And as a result of that, it's really imperative that the foods that we eat are indicative of that, so that we're nourishing our highest self. I'm honored today to be able to introduce my mentor and teacher. I first assisted Brother Aris back in the mid-'80s, I guess about 86, 87. And that's where I first learned how to sunfire my food. And I have been blessed to experience it throughout the many years following, and now it is one of the things that I share in the community. Brother Aris Latham is here today to share his wisdom and talent. All the way here from Jamaica. And so without further ado, I'd like to invite him up to the podium.
I'd like to thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to be here with you, to share and grow together. I'd like to thank my sister Tassili for being so strong and keeping so beautiful all these years. We met in 1983 in San Diego, and it's been a wonderful experience knowing sisters as, such as Tassili. And we also want to thank the Black Vegetarian Society of Georgia for all of the wonderful work that has been done to make it possible for us to get together here today. You are very special, and I am so happy to be in a position where I can share in your specialty. What I'm going to share with you today is what we call the electromagnetic energy of foods. What we want to look at is the relationship of human beings to the food that we consume. The Sunfire food science encompasses all of the fresh plant foods and how we live with these foods harmoniously so that we can get the energy, the love, the vitality, and the whole healing, spirit from these foods that we can, in order for us to radiate the glow of our being. Sunfire cuisine is a cuisine that it's really ancient, it's timeless. It's as old as the sun. What it is we look at the fact that food itself that were intended for human consumption has been cooked by the sun. When we partake of these foods, our goal is to try to transfer the solar energy from those foods within our being. But of course, when you destroy the solar energy from the food, then we really are fighting a very tough battle. Because ultimately, what we're looking for is the condensation of the solar rays. And the main key that is found in these foods is our oxygen. So when we eat, we're really eating for oxygen. As you know, the first breath is the beginning of life, and the last breath is the end of life. So our primary food to sustain our life is oxygen. We've been on this planet for at least 1 million years, based on recorded history. And it has only been 100,000 years that we've been consuming cooked food, because it's only been 100,000 years since the advent of fire. So prior to the use of fire, we obviously did not consume any cooked foods whatsoever. So for 900,000 years, we live a very wholesome, healthy, vibrant, reproductive, and long life, living off the food that were intended for us to consume. Once we developed the use of fire and we got into the position where we thought we were the rulers, you know, that we can actually have dominion over all of the other creatures on the planet, because we can burn them, we can do all these things to them, and we have this higher intellectual capacity that we think they don't have. So we got into torching the food, to roasting it, jerking it, barbecuing it, and these types of things, cooking, trying to tenderize things that were not intended for us to consume as human beings. And ultimately, we have figured out now that the experiment just isn't working. It's failed. So for the past 100,000 years, this experiment that we've been undergoing, trying to figure out how to adapt to eating cooked foods, we need to understand that the jury is in. We see all of the hospitals. We see the whole medical pharmaceutical industry, all of the drugs, all of the medications. And of course, we see all of the disease that are plaguing human beings today. So a great contribution to all of these things is the food factor. And you know, we all eat. We don't have a choice. And we're living in a day and age where capital run the world. You know, the bankers run the world. The bankers own the Federal Reserve. The bankers run the food business. And it's all about profit and loss, the bottom line. And since everyone eats on the planet, it's a nice business to be into. You can't go wrong, ever. You're going to make money from food. It's not going to go out of style. But they're trying to come up with new models, like how they come up with new models of cars and things like that. They're trying to come up with new models of foods and models that they can control. But it's gone to the point now where they're looking to produce, if they're not producing it already, seeds that are not reproductive. So you can plant your peas or your carrots or whatever you're planting, and they would yield seeds, but you can't plant those seeds again and get more food from those seeds. You have to go back to them to buy another batch of seed. That is how strong and powerful, you know, they're acting to control our food budget. It's all about money. It's not about your health. It's not about your freedom. It's not about your happiness and how you look and anything like that. It's about the bottom line. You know, it's about answering to the board of directors, to the investors. It's about Wall Street and how the stocks are moving, you know, and how much money we're going to get out of these stocks. So if we keep moving forward from the point of understanding that the sun itself is the primary source of life on the planet, not only human life, plant life, animal life, and the food that all of these life consume is also ruled by the sun. The foods that are intended for human consumption, they're cooked by the sun, naturally, in a very special way, very meticulous, very careful. So many, when they hear we say, we have sun-fired foods, or we make or produce sun-fired foods, they're thinking that, you know, we're whipping up something and putting it out in the sun and let it bake, you know, and that kind of stuff. But no, we're very obedient to the laws of life, and we're going with nature's plan. And we have observed that nature bakes the food for us naturally with the sun, with the solar energy. So from the time a plant or fruit blossoms, buds, germinates, sprouts, till the time it becomes mature, fit and ready to eat, or a ripe banana, or ready peach, soft and juicy, red and yellows and golds and all of these colors. That entire period, from the time the cherry blossomed, the cherry tree blossomed, to the time you have some nice, big, plump, juicy cherries, that's been the cooking process. 3 months, 6 months, a year. You're talking about slow cooking. So we have gotten so technologically advanced, we want to fast forward and speed it up to the point where we now have technology that nukes the food and radiate it. And, you know, something that nature normally would take, you know, a season to produce. You can get it in seconds. You know, but what they're doing, of course, they're uncooking the food. It's not being cooked. You're not eating cooked food when you eat a bowl of rice and a big piece of tofu or chicken or something like that. You're eating an uncooked food, a food that was already cooked by the sun, if it was intended for you to consume. So if that spinach comes to you nice and green and vibrant, and you boil it or steam it, or what do you do with all the things you do with spinach? You know, you chop it up and pack it in something and make spinach pies and all of it. You're uncooking the spinach. It came to you cooked, ready. For you to take a plantain, a ripe plantain that is perfectly cooked, well done, and look at the creative force that produced this plantain and say, you've made a mistake, or it's not ready, it's raw. I'm going to fry this plantain. I'm going to boil it, bake it, roast it. You're actually destroying the plantain. You're killing the plantain. Whatever it is, soybeans, peanuts, lettuce, tomatoes, chicken, fish. You're killing these living entities. And then you now, in turn, are looking for these dead substances to give you life, to promote life. How are you going to get death from life? Get life from death? So your food, when it comes to you, is a living food. Any food that comes to you that is not living, or actually, let's make it simple, that is not fresh. Your food is fresh food. Fresh lettuce, fresh tomatoes, fresh mangoes, and avocados, and cabbage, and carrots, and all of those things. When they boil it and bake it and pasteurize it and put it in bottles and tins and all of it, it is no longer fresh, that it cannot legally, based on the USDA regulations, they cannot legally label it as fresh. So basically all we're talking about is fresh fruits, fresh oranges, fresh orange juice, not orange drink. And that's another thing. They cannot call a juice that is not fresh and 100%. They cannot call it juice. They may call it a cocktail, a drink, or something else. So you have to look at language. You have to look at all of the issues involved that brings these things to you. But that ripe plantain that's ready cooked and fit for you to eat, if you eat it the way it comes to you, then it's going to sustain your life. It's going to enhance your life. But if you eat it fried, it's going to hurt you. It's going to lock you down. So whether it's plantains, soy-based products, animal flesh, vegetables, anything that we consume in that state is going to take us to a certain level. Now, what we have done, we have studied all of the fresh plant foods in the kingdom, and I've classified them into 4 major groups: the fruits, the vegetables, proteins, and starches. The foods that grow above our arm's reach, every food that is grown above our arm's reach, we call these foods electrical foods. And electrical foods, the nature of electrical foods are their cleansers. And the force that affect their energy is the sun, the solar energy that's pulling them up. Every food that grows beneath or below your arm's reach, that is affected by the gravitational pull of the earth, the root vegetables, the tubers. These foods are dense foods. These foods, we call them magnetic foods. And then the foods that are grown within your arm's reach, these are the electromagnetic foods. The characteristics of these 3 groupings of foods is that the electrical foods, besides typically grown high, they're also high in moisture. The more moisture in the food, the more electrical it is by nature. And the higher the food grows, the more electrical it is as well. And the more electrical the food is, the more cleansing it is in its natural state to the human body. The deeper the food grows into the earth, the less moisture is in it. So your root vegetables, the ones that are grown close to the surface of the earth, like your carrots and parsnips, turnips, beets, they have a lot of moisture. As they go deeper into the earth, the potatoes, the sweet potatoes, the yams, the moisture decreases and the starch value increases. So these foods are magnetic. As opposed to the electrical foods, the magnetic foods are builders. They grow deep into the earth. They're low in moisture. Besides the magnetic foods that grow in the earth, there are other foods that are magnetic. You have all of your grains. Grains being rice, wheat, millet, corn, the rye, barley, oats, all of the grains are also magnetic. You see no moisture in them when they come to you. They're not cleansing foods because they don't have that electrical energy. They're builders. Your legumes or peas, most of your legumes are magnetic foods. Actually, all of the legumes are magnetic foods. All of your peas are magnetic foods, including the one that we eat as a nut. The peanut is a magnetic food. All of your seeds are magnetic foods. All of your seeds are magnetic foods. Your nuts are magnetic foods. Low moisture. Even though the nuts grow high, no moisture at all in them. They're not cleansers. They're builders. All of your protein and starches are builders. They're magnetic foods. All of your fruits are electrical foods. They're cleansing. Of course, some electrical foods are more cleansing than others. The higher the moisture content, the more cleansing it is. The magnetic foods, some are more building than others. The denser they are, the more starch in them, the more building they are. The more protein in them, the more building they are. Then we have our neutral foods, the ones that typically grow within our arm's reach. These are the electromagnetic foods. The electromagnetic foods are sustainers. These are the balanced foods, the stabilizers. And within this group, this is what we call the vegetables. And the vegetables are broad. All of your green leaves are vegetables. All of your green leaves are electromagnetic. So the green leafy vegetables, the vegetable fruits. The vegetable fruits are fruits that don't contain any sugar. So they're typically classified as vegetables. All foods that come with seeds in them, botanically speaking, they're all fruits. Every single food that comes to you with seed or seeds in it is a fruit. But the fruits are actually broken up and they spread out in all of the different food groups. The major one that we classify as fruits, those all have sugar, some more than others. In the vegetable group, we have the vegetable fruits, the fruits without sugar that are more compatible with the vegetables, your tomatoes, cucumbers, eggplant, zucchini, okra, all of these vegetable foods that have fruits that have seeds but have no sugar. In the starch group, we have fruits as well. We have fruits in the starch group that don't have sugar. So every food in the starch group that have seeds are fruits. Your pumpkin and all of the winter squashes are fruits. But they're not classified under fruits dietarily because they don't have sugar in them. In the protein group, there are fruits as well. They don't have sugar, they don't have starch, but they have protein. And the way you recognize a protein, no matter what, whether it's plant protein or animal protein, all proteins in nature come with fat. There's no such thing as a fatless protein occurring naturally in nature. So you recognize and you identify protein foods by the fact that they have fat. They're fatty foods. So you have avocados, have a seed in it. It's a fruit. It has no sugar, has no starch. It has fat. It's a protein. Your olives, you make olive oil from that. Fat. It's a protein. Coconut oil, the coconut meat is a protein from the mature coconut. It's a fruit. And then in Jamaica we have the ackee. The ackee is a tropical fruit, high in fat, very rich. It's also a protein. So considering all of these factors and also looking back again at the vegetable group, besides the greens and the vegetable fruits, under this group we also have what we call the non-starchy vegetables. And the non-starchy vegetables would be things like celery. Well, even though celery has leaves, so it's really a green leaf, but most of it is a stalk, that has a lot of moisture. But it's a vegetable. Broccoli, it's a flower, but it's a vegetable. Cauliflower. So all of these foods that don't have fat, don't have protein, don't have sugar, don't have starch, don't have leaves, they're vegetables, starchless vegetables. Starchless vegetables. So your broccoli, your cauliflower, your asparagus, and all of these types of foods. Your peas, fresh peas, snow peas, sugar snap peas, string beans. These are all vegetables. And also under the vegetables now, we're going to place foods that have been sprouted, like your grains. The grains are starches, they're magnetic, they're builders. But when you sprout them and you grow them into a grass, like wheat grass, it's no longer magnetic. It's now a vegetable. Your lentil sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, these are now coming under vegetables. Taking it from the group of foods that are the fruits, we observe that the fruits themselves, within that broad band of fruits, we have 4 major categories, but there are about 6 altogether. There's one fruit that stands out all on its own, that's in a class totally by itself. It's the highest grown fruit on the planet, and it's the fruit that has the most amount of moisture, 100% water. No protein, no starch, no leaves or anything in it. And this is the young coconut. The young coconut, not even the one with the jelly, when it starts to develop the meat. But you cut up the young coconut and it's just water, and you chop that open and you see no jelly, no flesh, nothing in there. That is the most electrical food on the planet in its natural state. And it's the most cleansing food in its natural state. And when we talk about foods that are electrical, we're talking about what today people term electrolytes. Coconut water has more electrolytes in a natural state than any other food. So the coconut water itself, being the most cleansing food, the highest grown food, with the most amount of water, we want to look at that as really the god of foods. You look at the God force, the sun, that is the primary factor in that coconut water being what it is. The sun draws the moisture from the earth. And coconuts grow by the seaside, by the shore, abundantly. You go to any island, you go to any tropical country, the coconuts are abundant by the seashore. And we have places here which used to be known as Coconut Grove. They need to change that name. They chopped the grove down out of Coconut Grove. Where'd the grove go? You can't even hardly find a coconut tree in Coconut Grove anymore. But when the conquistadores came to America, they saw this beautiful patch of land full of coconuts, and they loved it. Coconut Grove, Florida. And you go to Jamaica, you go to Tahiti, and all of these wonderful tropical environments. That is the birth home of humankind. It's abundant with coconut. Coconut is the most versatile food on the planet. You make clothes with it, you make house, you feed your body, you make ropes, you make all kinds of things with the coconut. They even make canoes with the coconut tree. The coconut itself, that young coconut, that water that has been drawn out of the earth, primarily to seawater, and the sea is the most mineral-rich body of water on the planet. The sun is drawing that moisture out of the earth. Mother Earth, that female energy, is drawing that moisture out, and is distilling it, and bringing it up this tree, this obelisk, this phallic, this male energy, bringing that water up, distilling it, and turning that inorganic mineral water into an organic mineral water. So the coconut water is the most naturally occurring organic mineral water. And the European waters with the big price tags on it, the great mineral water, they're all inorganic minerals, and the body can't do anything with inorganic minerals. Plants need to process inorganic minerals and bring them to that organic state. So that's what the coconut tree is doing for us. It's processing those minerals and packing them in these nuts. These nuts that are shaped just like our mother's breast. This is the breast of the earth. And these are the offsprings. These are the babies. This is the fruit of life. The coconut itself. And that coconut, that young coconut, you just puncture the top of it, and the water just spouts out, just like mother's milk. It's hermetically sealed. And those trees could be 100, as much as 200 feet high. And that coconut drop off of that tree and it don't burst. Because Mother Nature created that coconut with the bottom of it is cushioned and it's pointed, it's aerodynamic, and it lands on that point and it doesn't crack open. And if you harvest that coconut within 6 months to a year from the time it sprouts, while Mother Nature has cooked it for that period, and you drink that coconut water, it will clean you out naturally. It even stimulates bowel movement. No other water does that. It is the only living water on the planet. And I question whether we're really water eaters by nature or not, or water drinkers. The type of water that, they're selling us. You see the animals that lap up that water with their tongue. Can we do that? How much water can we hold in our hands? 8 glasses? Can we do that? How much water you get in one little coconut? You get a couple of glasses, 3, 4 glasses at a time in one coconut. And this coconut water, it's a living water. We're living entities. Still water is dead. Once water stops running, it's dead. And I don't know where I come from. Anytime water stops running and it's stagnant, it gets stink. It grows moss on it. So if I'm buying a bottle of water out of a supermarket that doesn't get stink and it's not growing moss on it, is it treated? What's keeping this water from, dying, from decaying? Is it alive? What is going on here? So I question these things. I question the fact that, 10 years ago, water and gas were running toe to toe. A gallon of water was $1. A gallon of gasoline was $1. So everybody ran into the water business. All the beautiful name water. Everybody got water now. I mean, they go to the spring. They can even close their eyes and fill the bottle at $1. But you got these big rigs, these big oil drills out in the middle of the sea, digging miles down into the earth, bringing up black tar, putting it on a big tanker, shipping it across the world, take it to a refinery, process it, refine it, put it in a truck, take it to a gasoline station, put it in an electronic pump, an attendant to even pump it out, cashier to take the money, and they're only getting $1. And some people going to the spring and filling up a bottle and getting $1 too for water. So water drove your oil, your gas prices up. Them hijacking your water source to commercialize it and selling it to you like that is one of the factors that drove the gas prices up. There's no shortage, there's no this and no that and all of that. Battle of the cartels. How dare you? How dare you get a gallon of water, $1 for a gallon of water, and we're getting $10 for a whole barrel of crude? How dare you even today getting $300 a barrel? $300 a barrel for some soda pop. We know those sodas, those black ones, dark ones. Or they call them colas, I think. Those are $300 a barrel. Are they going to be the next factor to drive our gas prices up to $300 a barrel, too? We haven't seen nothing yet. The economics of life is very profound. This battle of the cartels out here going on. So as we move and we look at this water situation, and we enjoy our coconut water, and we enjoy all the life-giving benefits of coconut water, and we cleanse our body out. Grandmother used to say, drink that coconut water, boy, and wash your heart out. It washes the heart out. It cleanses the body. It cleanses the blood. The only thing comes through the heart is the blood. So in the mornings, take an internal shower, the same way you take an external shower. Hose out with some coconut water First thing in the morning, drink that coconut water. Wash the heart out. Hose out the digestive system. Add a little soap in there. Put some lime juice in it. Some lemon juice, some noni or some aloe. And clear that system out. Flush it out. Clean it out. So the most electrical food is the coconut, that dynamic food, that young jelly coconut, water coconut. But when that coconut is left on the tree to mature 3-4 years and it gets hard, that's that coconut you see now, that brown shell that you get. That's protein, that meat. It's very high protein, loads of fat. You got some people today taking it and selling you, what they call it, extra virgin organic coconut oil. Raw, too, they put on it. How dare them? We know that raw coconut oil gets rancid. Rancid. Raw coconut oil gets rancid. But you know how the government works. Oh yes, you can do this, you can flash pasteurize, you can do that, and you can still label it as raw. And the consumer, you know, not knowing these laws, oh yeah, I'm getting some raw coconut oil, you know, extra virgin. Cold press do they put on there? You know, they're taking some pages out of the olive industry. The olive oil, you know, yes. They can call olive oil extra virgin. I mean, all coconut oils are extra virgin. I mean, so you're putting it on the label because your consumer is so educated and they'll buy something extra virgin and pay more money for it. But every single coconut oil is extra virgin because you only press the coconut meat once. In the olive oil industry, you take that batch of olives and you press them. The first press is extra virgin olive oil. You take that same pressed olive, press it again, it's virgin olive oil. Press it a third time, it's pure olive oil. A fourth time, it's fine olive oil, because it's getting thin now. The fifth time, it's olive oil. And then what's left after that, the sixth time, they don't even press it again. They put it in a thing and add a little extra virgin to it, and that's olive pomace. Olive oil pomace. You ever seen that? You ever buy that? And they put extra virgin on there because they put a couple of drops of extra virgin in it. That's the gook. They're not going to throw it away. It's about profit. And you buy it, it's like, oh, this is olive oil. This thing tastes kind of different. So we need to know the science of our food that we're putting into our body. So they can call their oil extra virgin because they do have an extra virgin because they have other levels of pressing. And they can put cold press on their oil because they do cold press it. They do not press it with heat. And they don't heat treat it after that. So an extra virgin cold pressed olive oil is in a tin. It's in a can. It's in a dark bottle because it's light sensitive. So if you're buying a bottle of extra virgin cold pressed raw coconut oil in a clear bottle, sensitive, then it's not extra virgin, cold pressed, raw coconut oil, or coconut butter, they're calling it now, because they know you love butter. The thing is, they didn't tell you, they said, yeah, they cold pressed it, we know that, but they didn't tell you that they heated it after that. And the law allows them to do that. So we need to really watch, you know, what's out there and what we buy and what we're putting into our system, and choose what you want to put in, but at least know, you know, the value of what you're getting. So that mature coconut is protein, it's full of fat. So as the moisture level decreases in the fruits, the electrical energy decreases, the cleansing capacity decreases. So the next group of fruits are your melons, 95 to 99% moisture, very cleansing. Time. I understand there's some people in this town that are on the melon fast. 10, 12 days of melon, nothing but melon. Yeah. Yeah, you want to eat melons till your bowel movements are melon. What a colonic. Woo! And it cost me some enjoyable watermelons. And no one poked anything up in me and took away my friendly bacteria. My colon is polished. Or I might go on a mango mono, you know, in mango season. In 10 days I'll eat nothing but mango. I don't even have to drink any water or anything like that. Just eat mangoes. So my bowel movements are all mango. Ooh, be smelling like mangoes. You'd be so kissable. And it's not going to kill you. It's not going to hurt you. Oh yeah, you're going to get the runs. So what? Why are you afraid? You know, you only get the runs when there's something to run out. So let it run. There's a spice, that curry, you know, curry spice. And I mean, like in Jamaica, they're like, oh, you got to burn the curry. You know, right? You got to burn the curry. They say that in India too. Everywhere curry is you. You got to burn the curry. You mean, you know, they, you know, saute in a little hot oil before they mix it with the goat. Make that curry goat. And why? Because if you don't burn the curry, you're going to get the runs. It's going to really, you know, run the belly after you eat that goat. But I think the person who put that recipe together, they knew what they were doing. Because if you don't burn the curry, you will get the runs. But that goat really needs to keep running out of your system. So this is a real scientific recipe to allow that goat to leave the system and not sit in there and stick to the real and decay and rot and decompose and rot in your organ next to it, and then they stick a cancer label on you. So we need to observe, you know, how the healing qualities of our foods are well. So the turmeric in the curry, turmeric is very powerful, very healing, very cleansing. And when you burn it, you destroy the medicinal factor, the healing factor, the cleansing factor in the turmeric. So the melons are very cleansing, very refreshing. I mean, they grow in seasons for particular reasons. You know, 104 degrees out here, you know, next month, you sit up under a couple of melons, you're going to be cool. You know, my buddy T.O. Chambers said, I'm cool like a cucumber. And that's what a cucumber even is. It's a melon. It's a sugarless watermelon. So if you've destroyed your body and you've corrupted it and perverted it and you've got diabetes and all of this stuff, high sugar, go on a diet. Have cucumber. Go have a diet melon. Drink a whole bunch of cucumber juice. You get straightened out. But before you do that, find out what caused the diabetes. Hey, doc, what happened? What caused this thing, man? How come I got diabetes, man? And, oh, you telling me to stop eating fruits? Because it's going to drive my sugar level crazy? But, damn, doc, it's interesting. I really wasn't eating fruits before I got the diabetes. I wasn't eating that much fruits. You know, I don't really go for fruits like that. If you're telling me to stop eating the fruits, I'm still eating what caused the diabetes, maybe? And you're not telling me to stop that? Oh, okay, I see. Well, you came from Harvard and these other places. You got some supplements in nutrition you studied in school? Oh, right, you don't know anything about food. I understand. Are you treating something that's related to a food, you know, challenge? Oh, you don't know what diabetes is caused from. Oh, okay. Yeah, but, yeah, I understand that fruits, you know, give me a lot of sugar, but, hey, doc, doesn't starch turn into sugar too? Doesn't the body convert starch and make sugar out of it? Damn, doc, I was eating a lot of starch when I got this diabetes. Is that what I got it from? Should I stop eating starch, doc? Let's learn together, doc. Come on, man. Let's you and I make a team. Let's study this thing, man. Let's go on the internet. Let's Google up this stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there, man. Get out of the Merck manual, man, and trying to sell me some more drugs so I can eat more starch. And, you know, I'm perpetuating the problem. Oh, you're helping me to create room to put more of the problem back in? Oh, I see what happened when I eat fruits. Oh, the sugar in fruits are very electrical, doc. Yeah, Dr. Latham was talking about that. And they're very cleansing. Oh, so those fruits and the melons are going in there and snatching out that dried starch that I had packed in my tissues that didn't break down because I cooked the starch. And he said they don't digest when you cook them because I destroyed the starch-splitting enzyme. So I got starch stored. Oh, that's what makes my knees stiff? Oh, did I starch my knee slipped out? Oh, that's the arthritis you're talking about? Damn, man, I'm fixed. You gonna unfix me or what? How we gonna do this thing, man? Is there a Dr. Richardson in this town? Or holistic doctor or something like that? I heard there are people like that around. Let's get this thing together, Doc. You and I in big trouble, man. Oh, shoot, you're the youngest living. Oh, man, of all the professionals, the bankers, the lawyers, and all these guys, you die younger than all of them? Why is this, Doc? Let's get our health together, man. Let's go check out the whole raw food thing or something, man. Something is going on here that they didn't teach us in school. Let's really, really, look at food for what it is. So the cleansing melons, 95 to 99% moisture, clean the body out, electrify it, flush the system out, go in there and snatch out that old starch out of the tissue, bring it back into the bloodstream, and it's registering high sugar now, because that starch, when it comes back, is coming back as sugar. Wow. Okay, how did Merck miss that? So anyway, let's move forward and let's look at the other fruits. The ones that are 60 to 80% cleansers, electrical fruits. These are the pulp fruits, the peaches, papayas, mangoes, nectarines, grapes, and apples, and all of those things. These are 80 to 95, those are the subacid fruits. Before we get to that group, we have the ones that are 80 to 95% moisture. Those are the acid-tasting fruits, like our oranges, grapefruits, strawberries, blueberries. The acid-tasting fruits, pineapple, 80 to 95% moisture. That's the next most cleansing fruit after the coconut water, the melons. Then you have your acid-tasting. And don't confuse these with acid-forming food. A lemon tastes very acidic, but it doesn't secrete acid when it's digesting. It is alkaline. An orange is alkaline. It tastes very acid, but when it digests, it is alkaline. But when you pasteurize that orange and made one from fresh frozen concentrate, anytime you cook fruits, you turn them into all acid forming. So cooked, pasteurized, processed, concentrated from or whatever orange juice that you did not squeeze yourself is acid forming. Fresh made orange juice is alkaline. So these fruits, with their fiber, clean the system out, sweep it out. Very nice, cleansing foods. Then the moisture level decreases to 60 to 80%. Those are your pulp fruits, the subacid. These are too sweet or too acid tasting. Some might be a little extra sweet, like some, Thompson grapes. And some grapes could be, like, wow. That is not sweet. So there's a range in between that group right there. Some apples are nice, sweet, and delicious. Some are tart. Pears. But that's the subacid. Those are the pulp fruits that have a lot of body to them. Nectar. You don't make peach juice. You make peach nectar. You make mango nectar. Mango don't give you juice unless you blend it with something else that's liquid. So these are the subacid. They clean you out. Not as great as the coconut water or the melons or the acid fruits, but they clean you out just as well. Then we drop from 0 to 60% moisture. These are the sweet fruits. The lower the moisture, the higher the sugar. So they'll take some grapes and boil it down and get, grape sugar, grape juice that they sweeten like your noni with. The noni juice, a lot of it is sweetened with grape juice because they've taken some moisture out of the grapes and the sugar increases. So when you take the electrical energy out, the sugar increases. The electrical energy is the cleansing energy. When you take that out, the cleansing capacity of the food decreases. Then we move on to another level, and we see that, you know, the bananas, the plantain, the dates, persimmon. You see the low moisture? You see the sweetness in these fruits? They're not as cleansing as the others. And then the others that they've taken the moisture out, the dried grapes, raisins, the dried plums, prunes, dried pineapple, dried papaya, they'll constipate you. The electrical energy has been removed, so they're not going to cleanse you. A fresh plum, an acid fruit, you eat a couple of pounds of fresh plum, and you'll move some. You take those plums and you dry them out, and you come up with prunes, and eat a couple of glasses of prunes. They'll lock you down, they'll constipate you. The body is 70% liquid. Everything that goes into your body has to get into your bloodstream. The bloodstream is all liquid. So you're eating something that's dry, that's dense, that's no electrical energy in it, it's going to dehydrate you, draw the moisture from you to the point where you can become constipated. So we have to rehydrate all of these foods. We have to put the electrical charge back into them. So grandmother used to stew the prunes for us. You remember that? Stew prunes, and then you get a little bowel movements from that. So soak your prunes, eat them, and they'll open up the bowels. Take it further. Blend those soaked prunes with a whole lot of water and make prune juice. You see the electrical current that we have put back into those prunes in that water, and that prune juice would cut some stuff out, clear some waste out. That's the electrical power of food. And moisture. Moisture. You do that with some coconut water, you'll be moving in heaven. So on the opposite end of the scale now, you have your magnetic foods. Your magnetic foods are your starches and protein. So let's look at those under two different lights. Starches, their digestion takes place in the mouth. Carbohydrates, mixing them with saliva, breaking them down with the ptyalin and all the digestive enzymes that split starches in the mouth. When they come down to the stomach area, it's a rinse-off period, the final stage. So if they didn't pre-process above in the mouth, then they're not going to digest properly when they get down here. And then if you've cooked your starches and destroyed the starch-splitting enzyme, enzymes are catalysts. These are engineers that are found in the food. There are different types of enzymes. The major ones are the digestive enzymes and the metabolic enzymes. The digestive enzymes, well, enzymes are found in all living entities. There's nothing, unique about human beings, that we all function on this enzymatic level. All the animals, all the plants function on this enzymatic level. Enzymes are catalysts. They're the life force within all of these living entities. And enzymes are heat sensitive. You expose them to heat, you kill them, and they lose their capacity to do what they have to do. Their engineering feat of breaking down living matter into more digestible, form. So the starch-splitting enzymes in starches break them down into sugar. The protein-splitting enzymes in the protein break them down into amino acids. So if you expose any living entity to sustained heat above the highest recorded solar temperature on the planet, 135 degrees, you destroy the life, you destroy the enzyme, you kill those entities. So the place on this planet that temperature has been recorded, there's been two places, somewhere up in Europe, but the most prominent one, where it's been recorded on this side of the world, is named accordingly, Death Valley, California. 135 degrees. Even cactus have a hard time over here. You can't survive in Death Valley. Paul Braggs did a whole journey into Death Valley to do an experimental salt with some young athletes. And he eats no salt, they eat salt. And and they dehydrated and huffing and puffing and couldn't handle Death Valley, as Paul Bragg was able to do. The moisture level in your body, you need that when the temperature is high. That's why you got watermelons in the summer. That's why you got all the fruits in the summer. So to go do a barbecue on the big holiday in the summer, you're trying to defy the law of life. So you hot, you muggy, you sticky, you clammy, you're miserable, you're upset, then you're piping that down with some fire water, some alcohol. You're fainting, you're falling out, you're going through all of these convulsions and all of this stuff. You're fighting and fussing because that stuff is turned acidic. It's really toxic. It's, knocking you out. And then a few months later, when everything starts to come out in the fall, you got a flu? Take this. Doc, I understand that a flu is a detox. It's an elimination thing that's going on. You call it a flu, but I call it a healing crisis. It's a cleansing thing going on here. Oh, you giving me something to stop the elimination? A vaccine or some kind of pill or shot or something like that? Damn, maybe I should fast and allow the body to just clean out. Doc, did you know that the body cannot digest and eliminate simultaneously? And I've been a glutton for a little while, and I've just been eating. And now it's like the universe is moving in a direction where I'm naturally cleansing my small intestine. September 21st, the equinox, when I have equal daylight and equal nighttime, and my small intestine is kicking out garbage. It does it the same thing like that at the change of the season in the winter, December 21st, at the winter solstice. The winter solstice, Doc. You ever heard about that? They say in Latin that means the sun stands still. It's the shortest daylight day of the year here in the northern hemisphere. And, things really, my digestive system kind of slows down a lot during that time. And my elimination process takes place. So I find it's been favorable to just fast for 3 days, the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of December, and allow the body to just eliminate. Just focus on elimination, because if I'm eating, I can't eliminate. So I just go on a fast, December 21st, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. I do the same thing in spring, and grandmother used to do that to us in the spring, spring cleaning. I used to have a whole thing, if you look back in the scriptures with, the Lent and Easter and that whole period, and, the 40 days of fasting and all of this stuff before you get to the feast, and all of these types of things, all these things right around March. So I do a fast March 20th, 22nd, 21st, and 22nd, and do that spring cleaning. Then I do one June 21st. I'm doing one next week. The 20th, 21st, and 22nd. The summer solstice, the longest daylight day of the year. Damn, sometimes I treat my car better than my body, Some of us have been brought up to that. We winterize it, we change the oil, we change the filter, we flush the radiator out. My body is a dynamic machine. It's a dynamic engine. I need to consider some of these things about my body. Do those cleansing, do those flushing, do those, change the filter, the liver, flush it out. Clean out the kidneys and all the respiratory system, the circulatory system, the lymphatic system, get that wax out of the system so that the body can move a little more freer into cleansing. So with the electrical energy, the magnetic energy, as you're following this concept and you're understanding now why you're so into this fixed situation, that the magnetic foods, the builders, the starches are builders, but starches build by stuffing. Starches stuff the body. The other magnetic food, the protein, they build by stacking muscles. They stack. So bodybuilders bone up on protein to pack those muscles. When you eat the starches and you stuff the body, you clog it up. Very clogging in the body. And we know that every time we eat starch, we always grease them. We really grease those potatoes well with butter, mayo, you name it. We grease the rice with gravy, loads of it. We grease the bread with butter and margarine and all those other things. We grease all our starch. And science tells us that starch and fat can't digest together harmoniously in the body. And fat generally comes with protein only, exclusively. So I'm trying to eat, this meat and potato lifestyle with all the gravy and the butter and all of this stuff. And then I got to reach for some pink stuff because I got indigestion, I got acidosis, acid reflux. Doc, man, what's up? I'm really calling on you, because you're a responsible person. You're a responsible physician. You're here to help me and my family to keep healthy and strong and all of this stuff, And I said, let's embrace it. Let's study these things together. There's a whole lot of new science out there that haven't hit our universities yet. Oh, but Doc, maybe you can just go to Harvard. Dr. Benson up there got the Mind Body Institute. They're doing it up at Harvard. Columbia Presbyterian in New York. Maybe you can get some in-service training over there in holistic, patient care. So we can, bring some of this back to the community. So there's a lot of stuff out here. We don't have to be handicapped, with the doctors and helping handicap them and keeping them so busy, with little stuff that we can be handling ourselves. We put too much pressure on them. So they don't sometimes get to see beyond, the face of the book, and they just write a prescription and according to what the book says, and, they don't have the time to research because they got big, tuition bill they're trying to pay back, a whole bunch of hundreds of thousands of dollars in loan, and, they can't see so many patients at one time to really balance their books properly. So they'll, some of them will sell you some Chinese herbs or some supplements, or they, do a little this and that, moonlighting in the office, trying to make up for, stuff, or they may bring in other practitioners, and, they'll send you to the specialist over there and that one over there, and they get a cut from each one of those so they can make up and, keep their budget balanced. I mean, they're in a big predicament. We have to help them out. We can't pressure them like that. We really need to, not take our little simple stuff to them, the little symptoms and stuff, We got to take matters into our own hand and kind of free them up, Don't free them up too much because the economy might crash. We have to really be careful, So, get broken this and all of that. They're great. They can patch stuff together. They knows the body quite well. We got to really give it to them. And there's a whole bunch of advancements that they've made and all this kind of stuff, So we got to work with them, where their strength is, and, be careful about taking, food, originated challenges to them, and they really don't know that much about food, that kind of stuff. Let's go easy on them and do more research ourselves and be more responsible. We need to be responsible beings towards ourselves and not put ourselves in these types of challenging situations, because it's really expensive to get sick. It's really expensive getting sick and being sick, and it's not pleasant. It's a lot of suffering, a lot of pain, a lot of losing of income and all these things going on. And these are things that we're really responsible for. We're in charge of this stuff. I mean, this little animal that we live in here, this beast, we do know it's dumb. It's a flesh. So we need to take better care of it. We need to really let it understand that I am. I am. You are the body. You're an animal. You're a beast. I am going to train you. I'm going to domesticate you. I'm going to put you on a plan. I heard Sunfire got an eating, feasting, and fasting system. I'm going to try to put you on that. I'm going to make sure that, you go with the laws of nature. So we're going to, get a little more detail about this aspect of the energies of the food, and we're looking now at the starches and the protein, the magnetic foods, the builders, and the starches building by stuffing and the protein building by stacking. And we understand that the starches are root vegetables, grains, and legumes primarily. There's pumpkin and those other things that are starch. There are light starches like the young, sweet, fresh corn. That's a light starch. I mean, it's really sugar. It's little sweet corn. You know, or when we leave them out in the field to dry out and mature, and we get that dry corn that's all starch that we make corn starch from. We make corn chips and corn this and all of that flaky corn from. They give us dandruff and all that kind of stuff flaking out of our hair, and you know, these kind of starches and things like that. You know, we need to understand, you know, how the body really works with them, you know, harmoniously. And we need to know that, you know, all of the grains, all of the legumes, they all have to be soaked. They all have to be soaked. Their life force is dormant. The starch splitting energy in them is dormant. We have to remove the enzyme inhibitors. These are the safety valves that keep the life force dormant. We have to soak them, remove those things, and then allow them to germinate. Once they germinate, then we need to let them sprout. And when they sprout, in the sprouting, they've been broken down from starch to simpler sugars. They've been moved now from a magnetic state of being to an electromagnetic state of being, because we've added the electrical current back into them, we've added that moisture back into them. So the classical example is that wheat berry. We take that dry wheat berry and we pulverize it and make flour and we bake it, and it'll constipate us. It'll lock us down. Gives our babies a whole lot of mucus, clog up the respiratory channel, you know, and you know, then some people call it the staff of life. I think it's more appropriate to consider it the staff of death. You know, and we feed it to people in Haiti and, you know, South Africa and, you know, Ethiopia, starving babies, they call them, and get them starch and swell up their belly. And now today we got them rioting over starch, over rice and flour. And the Haitians are shipping all their organic mangoes over here, all their natural sugar being sold over here. And we're selling them, sending them back a care package. You know the care package, you know, from the U.S. government, starching them, you know, and we're getting all their organic mangoes, and we're going to Tahiti and doing the same, we're going to Ethiopia, we're going all over and doing the same, and having them on flour and starch, flour and rice. And now there's a shortage of those things, it becomes so expensive. And we're bringing their goji berries over here, superfoods. Paid me a lot of money. Superfoods. And the natives, oh, let them eat rice and beans. They don't know the value of what they got. I'm a pirate anyway. You know, I'm a descendant of Henry Morgan and the other pirates who came here before me and went down and ripped them off of their gold. Now I'm ripping them off of their superfoods and bringing it back to you. You know, fair trade. Well, you know, let's hijack Walmart when it comes to fair trade. But us, we're little people, you know. We're just, you know, wise little sandal-wearing, you know, hipsters, you know. We got a groove here, you know. We're fair, you know. We stay in their hotels and stuff. We get them tips when we go down there, you know. So anyway, you know, those starches, that glue, you know, wheat is 6 layers of glue. The outer layer is the bran, that's the fiber. The inner layer is the core, that's the germ. You got 6 layers of glue between that. You may call it gluten, but it's still glue. It'll seal you up, it'll glue up your system. Staple it down. You know, and then we have pasta. I mean, well, you know, it sounds nice in Italian, but when we, you know, call it in English what it is, paste. And we get to understand what we're doing. We're pasting up our inside. It's a serious thing that we got to face right now with all the situation that's going on. So these starches, that wheat, you take that wheat berry and you soak it. Soak it for 12 hours. Remove the enzyme inhibitor. Activate the life force. Now it germinates, it comes to life. It's now a living food. You can sprout it for 2 days, And every time you rinse it, it's absorbing more water. It's getting electrified. The starches are being broken down into simpler sugar. You take those sprouted wheat berries and you sow them in the dirt, you plant them, and you get wheatgrass. Wheatgrass is now electromagnetic. It's with the lettuce and the spinach and all the green leaves. So you've transformed that food from a stuffer to a nice, oxygen-bearing, green plant with lots of calcium and chlorophyll and iron and all of these things. But you can go even further and take that wheatgrass and juice it. And that wheatgrass juice, you remove the bulk, 100% moisture. Hey, don't we have an electrical food here now? Yeah. And the wheatgrass juice, you put it under a microscope next to your blood, it has the same molecular structure as the blood. So it has an affinity to the blood. It gets to that blood instantly. And that blood, with electrical energy in it, like you drink that coconut water, you feel like needles and pins moving through the body, that electrical energy. Same like our electricity bring us light here, that electrical current in the food brings oxygen to the cells. But it snatches toxins out of the cells to bring back upstream. So that wheatgrass is violent when it comes to that. It'll pull a whole lot of garbage out quick. And if you're too toxic, you took an ounce of wheatgrass juice for the first time, you're nauseous, you're sweating, you're dizzy, you got a headache. Wheatgrass juice, it don't agree with me. It make me feel sick. I don't drink that stuff anymore. Go to the internet and Google up wheatgrass and get yourself educated, get informed. Go to Life's Essential and buy your book on wheatgrass. Go just read it. Ones will let you just read it in there. You don't have to buy the book. Get educated. Get educated. It's cleansing you. And as the wise one Imhotep said, let your food be your medicine and your medicine shall be your food. That still holds true today. So how are you going to eat something as food that is not your medicine, that is going to actually even make you sick? We've lost our wisdom somewhere. We've been brainwashed, blood washed, everything, programmed. So we have to deprogram now. We have to clear out this, we have to clean out this temple. We got to detox mind, body, and spirit. You got to shut the mind down, empty it out, and stop thinking. It's a big job. So you go sit with the guru and you meditate. That's fine. That's a good little help. But you need to meditate 24 hours a day. You need to stop thinking, period. You need to empty out all of those accidents that were bumped into your head and reprogram where you are now. Reprogram where you get your hard drive up to speed to a level where it's going to work for you and not be your greatest enemy. And that's what our mind can be for most of us. Rather than being our best friend, it can become our greatest enemy. Defeat ourselves mentally. And don't let the mind and the body get together. They'll smother the I am. The spirit don't have no place between those two. They'll wedge you in. Can't even relax in the body anymore. Stressed out and all of this stuff. So you need to bring that beast back in order. And you need to use this electronic brain that you have here, to help you to keep that little animal in check. It'd be the dog trainer for you, or the human trainer, whatever you want to. Well, some people call the body dog anyway. Don't some of these young guys know about, oh, dog, hey, dog. Some call it lion, all that stuff. But it's still an animal. It's a beast. You can put it whatever group you want to put it in. Some call it monkey, some call it chicken. Hey, you chicken. You too chicken, whatever. But we need to really, understand, how it works, the dynamics of this creature, of this being. So with these starches, once you cook them, you destroy the starch-splitting enzyme, they don't break down, they stuff the system, clog it up, they're full of fat, they dry out, We fold them into the fatty tissues, pack them away somewhere. They become stones somewhere, dry out, brittle. Cramps, dry starch that's cracking, rubbing up against our tender mucus lining, and we call it a cramp. It's a stab, from a piece of dry chalk that you put into your body. So we have to rehydrate these things. We got to break them down. We got to pour some lemon juice on them, pour some cayenne pepper on them, some hot stuff. You know how you get soft and loose, you run the iron over it. And then when you let it dry, get cool, it gets stiff. So when your joints get stiff here because you starch it stiff, you become a snowbird and run down to Florida for the winter. Go to the Bahamas, because you starch stiff. You run out of Canada and all these places, going down there to chill. Or some come down here. Oh, that's why some of you all came down here. A little warmer down here, the arthritis don't beat you up so bad down here. But we really need to, observe the body closely and see how it works and how to work with it. So that wheatgrass will clean you out, but it don't create bowel movement. The wheatgrass juice doesn't create bowel movement. So you go to certain places that practice that culture, you got to walk around with a bucket, enema bucket on your shoulder. Because you got to move the garbage out as fast as it's being released, otherwise, it knock you out. But if you just take that little wheatgrass juice and drop it in your coconut water, now you got the perfect synergy, and it's going to move right out for you. Then the protein, those builders, your nuts, your seeds, the protein fruits, coconut, avocados, olives, and those things. The 3 legumes that are high in protein. Most legumes are 70% starch and 30% protein. Legumes only have protein and starch, no minerals in them, no vitamins and that kind of stuff. 70% starch, 30% protein. There are 3 legumes that are higher in protein. Around 80% protein, peanuts. Those peas are very high in protein. Lentils, very high in protein. And the soya bean, very high in protein. Now this last one, we need to understand it before we go crazy, eating a whole bunch of them, without understanding that soybean have an enzyme inhibitor that inhibits the body from producing trypsin, which is a digestive enzyme that breaks down the type of protein that is found in soybean. So the wise ones in the Orient, they figured this out thousands of years ago, so they culture the soy-based products. They make soy sauce, they make tempeh, miso, and all of these cultured, fermented things to neutralize those enzyme inhibitors, because they know those foods don't digest. And those enzyme inhibitors in the soybean will kill you. But they add up. They're slow, but they add up. So you can go and do research in your community on vegetarians who've been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years and find out their health status and what they've been eating, how much soy-based product, how much texturized vegetable protein they've been eating, how much gluten they've been eating, how much of the processed texturized vegetable protein that they go to some oriental restaurants and it's, kale bones and, drumsticks and all the imitation faking meats and those types of things, texturized vegetable protein. The chunks and the mince and all of this kind of stuff. Soybean is the biggest edible oil on the planet. Well, it's interesting, you can make paint out of soybean. What else you can do out of soybean? I mean, a lot of stuff. Paint, you can eat stuff that makes paint. It's interesting. Just go, get a gallon of your favorite color paint. Swallow that down there. So you got soybean in it. I mean, you're eating ice cream with soybean. Have a gallon of paint too. Why not? So these enzyme inhibitors that are in this product is very challenging. So you have to culture it. You have to ferment it. You have to sprout it. Sprout the soybean. You neutralize that enzyme inhibitor. And now the body can access the protein that is in soybean. Well, you're going to take this stuff and make, bacon bits and, faking bacon and soy cheese and soy milk and tofu. Tough for you. I mean, read between the letters. Read between the letters. So soybean, that oil from the soybean, it's a huge industry. It's a lot of oil. Usually when you read something that says vegetable oil, most of it is soybean in there. So what's left over from that soybean is gook. I mean, we know that, the bankers, the food industry run by money-making people. And that's profit. We're not going to throw that gook away. Oh, let's make dog food out of it. So you make dog food. All right, you go to your favorite big yellow bag of dog food, and it's got it in there, texturized vegetable protein. Well, actually, what you might want to do better, you go in the supermarkets and go to the vegetarian section of the supermarket. Well, let's look at the tin foods, the canned foods. There's a line of products with these texturized vegetable protein that got the chemicals and all of this stuff in it. And we know they originate out of California, Loma Linda, Glendale. A lot of them are wonderful products that have been produced by wonderful, well-meaning, intentioned vegetarians. The whole Adventist movement, wonderful movement. The vegetarian community in the world that you can really study and see that health-wise they're, more healthier than most other communities because they're vegetarian. And they strictly adhere to the principle, not strictly these days. I mean, some do eat chicken and stuff like that, other things, But they really, their foundation of vegetarianism is thou shalt not kill. But it all ends right there. Their consciousness ends right at thou shalt not kill. So you pick up one of those cans, go pick up the country stew, one of those brands. They got a country stew. Texturized vegetable protein from the soy and the wheat and all of this stuff. And it's got carrots and, really nice vegetables in there. And then there's a whole litany of chemicals. Big, long list of chemicals in them. Go around the other aisle to the dog food section. There's a yellow brand. They have a country stew also in the dog food section. And do a comparative, analysis. Yeah, texturized vegetable protein, corn, carrot, and, meat solids. Oh, wow, that's the main difference, meat solids. Also, they shoveled up the meat garbage and put it in the dog can for them, and they didn't put any in our cans because we're vegetarians. So apparently they ran out of dogs. There's not enough dogs in the world to eat all of the gook that was made from the soy-based products. So there's some wise, healthy vegetarians that are looking for meat alternative. So we can make some imitation meat for them and load them up with this texturized vegetable protein and make it taste like what you want it to be. Roast duck. Yeah, we got chemicals working with us now. So you check out your community and you check out the vegetarian people in your community that's been doing it for 30, 40 years and what they've been eating, and the ones who have been eating that, those texturized vegetable protein. Unfortunately, a lot of them are big. A lot of our brothers and sisters are real big for eating a lot of that stuff. And some have cancer. Some have cancer. Even some that are physicians have cancer. But, just go online and punch up soy foods, soybeans. Go into places like Mercola.com, MERCOLA.com, and find out all the latest research on soy-based products. See what it's been doing to our babies. See what it's been doing to the female hormonal system and throwing it off balance? You know, the correlation with the challenges that our males are having with their prostates and all of those things. And think about whether you really should be consuming these kind of dog foods, vegetarian dog food. Yeah, so we're going to move with this here and kind of wrap up this portion so we can have a break and enjoy, you know, some sunfire vibration here. We move to the next level, and we understand that these proteins, the nuts, the seeds, the legumes, the soybean, peanuts, and lentils, you know, we soak them, germinate them, sprout them, and all of these things, remove the enzyme inhibitors, make them more, the digestive energy of them more accessible and more favorable to us. Because we know when we cook starches and protein and we destroy the digestive enzymes, and knowing that the body is this enzymatic monster here that needs, you know, all the enzyme it can get, and it needs to produce a lot of metabolic enzyme constantly every second of our life, you know, to run the kidney, the heart, the lungs, and all these. They got specific metabolic enzymes that needs to be constantly be produced. And we know that the body from birth has been coded to produce X number of enzymes over a lifetime. Who knows what number, what figure, millions, billions, trillions, who knows? So every time you put foods into your body that have no enzymes in them at all, cooked foods, your body now has to produce the necessary digestive enzyme to break these foods down. And producing an extremely high amount of digestive enzyme is the biggest job you can ever ask your body to do. I mean, it's more intense than physical construction work. Very, very challenging work that we have to do, producing these digestive enzymes. So the heart, the kidneys, the lungs, wow, you've taken a big job and you're not producing what I need at this moment to do my thing for you. So I'm going to take time out. We all going to go to sleep. And you're going to go to sleep. While after that big, heavy cooked meal, you go to sleep. You go to sleep. So some cultures like the Latham, they build it in the lifestyle. We all take a siesta, shut down the shops and everything, because we eat a whole bunch of, you know, pig feet and, you know, all this stuff, and we need to go take a sleep. In Jamaica, they call it the nigger-itis. You know, it's amazing. You know, we don't understand what's going on. We don't understand. So what we're doing now, we're challenging the body to produce all of this unnecessary digestive enzyme, trying to violate the laws of life. So we now start deep into our enzyme bank. And one day, the bank gets low, we even get bankrupt, and the doctors say your immune system has been compromised. That's the immune system, the enzyme bank, the engineers, the soldiers, the military, the catalysts that protects and defends the body and builds it and keeps it working, keeps it moving. And when you take that bank like that, trying to process food that the body was not intended to process, how are you going to challenge and defy the law of nature who gave you fruits, gave you oranges and mangoes and apples and grapes and all of these things, and you don't have to even work for those foods. Nature would just throw peaches at you right here in your backyard in Georgia every year, every season, on time when it's cooked. Sunfire, ready, well done, ready for you to eat. Would even stone you with it, a whole bunch of them come down at you one time. Eat them all. Get a cleansing. But you're going to say, oh, well, I'm going to, you know, I can beat that. I'm going to go have some potatoes and yam and biscuits and breads and donuts and all this stuff, and I'm going to rev my body up, you know, like Lance Armstrong or Michael Jordan, and I'm going to take this pasta and I'm going to run it and make sugar. Oh, shoot, but I'm not in the cotton field anymore. I'm not slaving all day. I'm not sweating and burning it like that. I'm behind computers, watching TV, driving in cars. I'm living the sedentary lifestyle. Doc, I really can't burn sugar like that. I'm not an athletic. Oh yeah, do exercise and all of that. What the exercise gonna do? Help me eat more of it? Gonna help me to eat more of the problem? So let's address the cause.
When you got a medical condition and you go to your body mechanic,
just like your car mechanic, your car is backfiring, pistons are knocking. Change the fuel. You're putting in the wrong thing in there. Change the oil, do this and do that. Winterize it, clean it out, change the spark plugs and all of that stuff. And you go to your body mechanic and you're like, Doc, I'm farting, I'm sneezing, I'm shitting stink, underarm odor, bad breath and all of this stuff. And, I mean, it's like, gee, man, I'm not working right. What do I do? Take this. Temporary relief. Band-Aid. Give you room to put in more of the problem. What kind of mechanic are you? My car mechanic usually tell me to, change the fluid, take out the stuff and clean out and freshen up. Should I be doing that, Doc, or something? It's like, we're gonna not clear out the garbage can?
I'm constipated, Doc. A little thing
with the grease and stick it up there and, get a little push. Wow, I think it's more systematic, Doc. I mean, you know the body well, Cancer is not just a local thing, Doc. I'm full of this thing. What's going on here? And again, I tell you, check out Harvard, the Mind Body Institute, check out Columbia, check out the holistic physicians that are around the corner. There's a whole different breed going on here. You should join that club. Help save your life too. So we need to really take charge. We need to understand what's going on with these foods. You cannot take your body and turn it into a refinery and produce sugar from starch after you have cooked that starch. You're not that kind of Michael Jordan. You can try it.
But the minute you stop running and that garbage start coming back
upstream, look at Muhammad Ali. Look at what is happening to us. Fitness is not all. Yeah, fine. You can be the greatest junk food eater on the planet. You can eat it all, but get it out as fast as you put it in, and don't stop running. Don't stop running if you're going to keep putting it in. But we got a whole new science today that is showing us not to put it in, that show us that, the most critical things about the body structure is that it needs, proper, wholesome, living nutrition, live cells, that we can produce more red blood cells and not a whole bunch of white blood cells. And we need exercise. We need to tone and keep the body fit and trim and slim. Because we understand that when we're carrying around a big mass, we're carrying around a trash bin. We're literally full of it.
People say, you full of it. Yeah, you're right.
You're right, you're full of it. But that's just garbage, it's filth, it's waste. It's pus, it's grease, it's wax, it's junk, it's gook. So we need to also cleanse. So the food, the activity, and the cleansing. And that's just for the animal level, for this flesh here. But then there's other things. There's mind science, the spiritual culture, and all of these things. So the I am, the spirit, need to acknowledge this God energy and take charge of the body and put this beast in check. Spank it. Don't eat that. Whatever they want to call you, Joe or Mary or, Mwalimu, whatever your name is, you're still an animal, and I am the boss. I am the boss, and I'm going to put this mind to watch over you. Okay? And this mind is going to really be very vigilant about you, because I'm putting the mind on a 7-day mental diet to get it ready to stop, to detox. So I'm going to have the mind think positive only for 7 days and not entertain any negative thoughts. I'm just going to reprogram it for now, because if you must think, at least for goodness sake, think positive. But ideally, I think I want to just clear the mind out. I want to dump the whole program. I want to clean it out. I want to meditate 24 hours a day. I want to live in the present. I don't want to think, because when I think I'm only in the past or the future, I'm missing this precious moment right now. And I can't think of anything new. I can't create thinking. I can only think of the program that the church, the family, the school, the government, the politics, the sports, and everything else has put into me. So I want to know who I really am. I want to take control. I want to take charge, of this vessel that I'm living in, of this temple that I'm living in. And I understand it's actually becoming an endangered species. The human body can safely now be put on the endangered species list. So rather than running off to South Africa to try to save the zebra, I think it's nice if I begin to just try to save the animal that I sleep in every night. Then maybe I can save the zebra when I have more energy and more time, to do that. Or if I save myself, the zebra probably won't have to be extinct. So we really need to take this animal and really put it to test, put it to the task. And when we birth these children, stop killing them from birth. They don't have a digestive system. It takes 2 years for those babies to develop it. So how are you going to poke some big table food down their gut and ask them to develop a digestive system prematurely? It's going to be developed faulty. And now they're walking adults with acidosis, indigestion, acid reflux, working with a faulty digestive system. They weren't breastfed for 2 years. Their mother didn't give them that blood transfusion for 2 years. So we really need to take charge. We really need to look out at what we're doing. So we look at the protein and we process them and bring them to a level where they can build the body and not rot and decay and produce uric acid to supplement our reproductive organs and make our females use their reproductive organs as an auxiliary organ of elimination with the menstrual cycle, dumping out all their vital fuels every 28 days, trying to empty the excess garbage. And we see what happens when they conceive and they no longer have that trapdoor working for them. And they get the morning sickness, the garbage floating up in the system every morning that we would normally eliminate through the trapdoor, the emergency valve, because the other organs have been so shut down because we've been clogging up the system. And then when they go to the menopause phase, and that trapdoor is really sealed forever, and they keep eating the same garbage, where is it gonna go? There's no push button to get it out through the reproductive organ anymore. So here comes all these challenges. And our males with all the uric acid from all the protein, animal protein they've been eating. Animal protein that's creating serious challenges for them, that they even have wet dreams, or involuntary emissions. Or they go to a little peephole and masturbate, trying to get the acid, the toxins out, trying to pump it out, or they may use you to help them squeeze it out. With your yeast and their pus and all this other stuff, your uterus is rotted out. And you got to cut it out and all that stuff. So we need to take charge. And the scumbag don't help. To actually help your mate to jerk off in a scumbag and take his life and throw it away in a scumbag. Because it's safe sex today, we need to reorient all our behaviors, all our energy, all our lifestyle practices, and see the mess that we've gotten caught up into today, living on a collision course with Mother Nature, following laws and rules and regulations that are just designed to make capital. So we have a big job. As Dick Gregory always said, we got a big job. We have to take charge. So watch those proteins, those cooked, revitalized, rotten animal protein that breaks down in your system the same way they break down in your trash bin. Maggots and everything. Rot out your inside. Rot out your guts and all of that. Fish. You're still a vegetarian eating fish. How can a fish eater be a vegetarian? They're not going to steal that label. I am not a vegan. I am a vegetarian. I don't eat fish, and I don't take eggs and milk and dairy, and I'm not a vegan. I am a vegetarian. Dairy does not vegetate. Fish does not vegetate. And fish is the greatest source of body odor. It stinks. You see how it stinks sitting on your table overnight. Fish rots and spoils quick. The only way you can get fish from spoiling is to freeze it. And your gut is not a freezer. It's an oven. 100 degrees. Fish will rot down there faster than on your table overnight. And fouls you up. Well, no, the chicken fouls you up. They call that the foul, right? Yeah, the fish got you smelling fishy, or whatever you want to call it. But we really have to take charge. We have to really be careful. So once you know the quality, the values, the properties of these foods, the electromagnetic energies, the cleansers, the builders, the stuffers as opposed to the stackers, and then you look at the vegetable group of foods, the electromagnetic foods, the balancers, all your green leafy vegetables, your vegetable fruits, your non-starchy vegetables. Now we want to understand how the body works. What's the relationship of the body with these foods now? What should we eat? When, how, where, why? So as we come to this juncture, we're going to take a break. We're going to get something to, recharge the body. And then now we're going to see how that thing is working in our body when we come back. And we're going to look at, how our daily cycles, our weekly cycle, monthly cycle, seasonal cycle, what to eat in these different cycle terms, and what's going on with the body, when to detox. So again, we're speaking about the sunfire, feasting, fasting, and healing system. This is a system that we've designed, developed for you to feast, fast, and heal. Eat, drink, and be merry. That's what the ancient one said in Kemet. That your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. Anything else, you're just a victim of capital greed. Okay, so we need to. So this is what we're talking about, those 4 groups. So when we come back, we're going to look at the 4 cycles of life: the daily, weekly, lunar, and the seasonal cycle. So we have these available for you. We have also for you a breakdown. As we're breaking it down here, we're going to have this recording available for you. So as you see this chart, you're going to get all the details that goes along with it. And then we have the Jamaican Eats. This is an article that was done in the premier Jamaican food magazine, and they feature the whole sunfire cuisine in this magazine, and it breaks down the whole eating cycle that we're going to be speaking about in terms of beginning at 4 a.m. to 8 to 12 noon, what the body's doing during that time, what should we consume from 12 noon to 8 p.m., what we should be doing, and we know what we do from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. naturally before the pirates came and turned the light off. We went to sleep. We go on a fast during that sleeping mode. So this is available to you as well. We have the Sunfire Food International. This is 60 recipes, all living foods, we use the word sun-fired foods rather than living and raw foods and all of that kind of stuff. Because it's a positive thing. It's in the light. There's nothing raw about this. And sometimes you say living foods, you might go to somewhere and they put some clams on your plate, or some lobsters bouncing around, or some crabs and stuff like that are living, some rare burger and that kind of stuff. So we want to make sure that we're talking about sun-fired foods that have been cooked by the sun, plant foods exclusively. So the recipes are all here for you. We have a set of 4 DVD. And of course, as you see here, we have the Paradise Pie on this book. This one we developed in Brazil at the World Vegetarian Congress in 2004. And on this one here, this as you see also on the flyer that you came in here with, this is the logo. The logo is my image with the Paradise Pie. This is our brand. The Paradise Pie is the star of our shows here. So this sister here who came to our retreat, and she tells you about her experience at the retreat. This is the Paradise Pie that she made, nice mango pie. So with these DVDs, You distinguish them by the pie on the cover. So the first one here is the Sunfire Cuisine. The Sunfire Cuisine, this we made in 2000 when I first went to Negril, to Jamaica. This was done at the Cays Resort in Negril. And this is a complete menu, you know, with juice, milk, salad, entree, nut meat, all of these types of pies and those things. So this one has the papaya strawberry pie on it, which is what we're going to share with you today, the papaya strawberry pie. Then we have 3 volumes here of DVD that are from my show that is now running in Jamaica on CTV cable. You can get that. You can get some clippings from the show on brokencurve.com. 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 When you go to that site, pull up Broken Curve TV. And under that, you're going to go to channels. And the channel you're looking for is CTV. CTV. And on the CTV, the show you're looking for is Healthy Lifestyles. And that's the show that I currently do in Jamaica on cable there. And what we do with that show is that normally I have a guest. I'm really the host of the show. I have a guest that speaks about something within the whole natural, holistic lifestyle circle. So we have had Brother Yasser doing the comedic yoga. We had a sister from D.C., Dr. Amen doing the belly dance. We had Kepra doing the capoeira. We have Jackie from Jackie's on the Reef in the Grill that did some other cleansing. And we have a masseuse. We do the mud. We have a full view of someone doing the clay. We mud them up with the black mud from the Blue Mountain, and you lay out in the sun, and it bakes. Then we brush it off and exfoliate the dead cells. So these have been guests that I've had on the show, and on each show I would do 2 recipes, and these were done in our garden. Our garden is Koyaba Gardens, so you can go to koyabagardens.com, and you will see a view of paradise. We have 5 springs and a waterfall on the property. It's a botanical garden. You get tourists that come through the tour every day from the cruise ships. They come in for about 3 hours, and then the rest of the day it's our backyard. And there's a river running all right through the gardens. This is where we have retreats. We have a retreat coming up in a few days, July 16th to the 21st, and there are flyers there for the retreats. This is the Mojo retreat, so you come and get your mojo working down there, get sun-fired, and there's one coming up in November as well. But these here, as you see, they all have a pie on them. So we have the yin-yang, and then we have this is appleberry pie here, and this one here, this is a peach pie here. So between all of them, these are 30 recipes. This one has 10 recipes on this. And then we have this booklet here. This is the Oxford Encyclopedia of Food and Drink in America. The 2004 edition of this encyclopedia did a tremendous expose on the history of vegetarianism in America. And if you know anything about the Oxford Encyclopedia of Food in America, the whole Oxford itself is the authority in terms of the literary authority on worldwide food. So this one is just on America. So they speak about the history of vegetarianism in America. And of course they go back, they try to go back as far as they can. So they start off with Pythagoras. They, I guess, omitted that he studied on the banks of the Nile. But so the American legacy of vegetarianism actually started on the banks of the Nile, where Pythagoras went and got his feet wet, and brought a lot of that information has trickled down. So then they speak about the ancient period in America, getting into things, about what they call the Magna Graecia and the Greeks and all of those situations going on. Early American vegetarianism, and in early American vegetarianism, they talk about Ben Franklin and the Quakers. Then it goes on from there and speak of others Mostly, you know, the big movement was in Philadelphia, and Graham, you know, the Graham crackers and all that kind of stuff. These people were part of that movement. Then the Cornflake Crusade, you know, Harvey Kellogg and that other movement there of bringing those things to people. Then the modern American movement, which, you know, basically was springboarded from Harvey Kellogg, and then Dr. Fletcher. We talk about Fletcherizing, you should chew each mouthful 50 times, and became popular for that, was a big fan of that kind of stuff. Then the veganism. Veganism started in 1944 in Leicester, England. And this is basically, you know, trying to carve out a whole different energy from the vegetarian world, people who they want to give up their raw milk and raw goatless, rennetless cheese and all of that kind of stuff, and call themselves vegetarian. And so people who gave those things will just call them a vegan. And then the impact of the Asian religions in America, of bringing, you know, Hinduism and Buddhism and these things here, and the vegetarian legacy that those things brought to us. Then the influence of the animal rights movement. Then they come up today with the raw food movement here. And under the raw food movement, basically,
they speak about Ann Wigmore as the person.
Here, let me read to you what they say about Dr. Wigmore. It said, the only foodstuffs to be identified closely with the raw foods movement are sprouted grains, beans, seed and nut cheeses, and wheatgrass juice. All the legacy of Ann Wigmore, drawing on the knowledge passed on to her by her grandmother, a village healer in her native Lithuania. Wigmore concocted wheatgrass juices and sprouted foods to feed her ailing patients at the Hippocrates Institute's holistic raw food health centers that she opened throughout the United States. And it really, you know, really put her where she needs to be. She's done some tremendous work to bring the raw food movement in full force. Then right after that, there's this
paragraph that says, another immigrant to whom the
raw foods movement owes much to is Aris Latham, a native of Panama. He's considered to be the father of gourmet, ethical, vegetarian raw foods cuisine in America. He debuted his raw food creations in 1979 when he started Sunfired Foods, a live foods company in Harlem, New York City. In the years since, he has trained thousands of raw food chefs and added innumerable gourmet raw food recipes to his repertoire. So it's really quite an honor, you know, to be mentioned on this level for what we have done. You know, it's great to be in a position where, you know, we have really been blessed to have this in the family, you know, because we really need to bring our family back home. You know, there's a lot of raw food
merchants that are out here that will sell you
a bag of tricks for a lot of money, you know, and you're still, you know, sneezing and huffing and coughing and farting and all of that stuff. So my bio is in the back of this. These things are available to you, and you can speak with the brothers and sisters there that are going to share with you the value of these things. And also with your refreshments today, make sure you've gotten your juice. The juice is tamarind with strawberry, ginger, and it's sweetened with agave, with spring water. And then we're going to put together a paradise pie for you, a papaya strawberry pie as part of your refreshment. But in addition to that, they have a raw food platter, a sun-fired food platter there that they're going to ask you for a donation to share that with you. So I give thanks for
being here, for sharing with me, and we'll take this
break and come back and see, you know, how it all works with it. All right. Okay. Oh. Back here, and I see you're really enjoying the digestive feast. What we have prepared for you today is the cashew cheese. We soak for 12 hours, grind and mix it with lime juice. There's some pineapple puree in there. There's scallion and a variety of sweet peppers, and also there's cilantro as well. And normally we use the black salt. The black salt. There's a big thing about salt today, and there's the sea salt and the Himalayan salt and the Celtic sea salt. But based on my research, the black salt is better than all. And Whole Foods haven't found that yet, so you don't go there for it. Only the Indian spice shops have the black salt. And it comes from a part of Himalaya in the valley near Pakistan. And it's active. It's the only active salt you're going to find today. It has a lot of sulfur in it. You open it up, you'll smell it. And it breaks down and leaves your body. So that's the salt we normally would use or recommend that you use. The curry plantain is fresh, ripe plantains that are sliced and marinated with lime juice, olive oil. There's sun-dried tomatoes. There's the kalamata, black olives in there. There's cilantro, and there's also scallion in there as well. The mild curry powder. And I believe that's about it in that curry plantain, and tomato as well. Then we have the rainbow salad, spectrum of the rainbow. The pumpkin is what looks like cheese, yes. Spicy in the dressing. Yeah, so besides the jicama and the beet and the carrot and the spring mix that we have in there, we have a dressing. It's a tahini tomato dressing. And we made a half gallon of it and only dropped one Jamaican fiery Scotch bonnet in it. So it's lit up. You know, it's lit up. And we have elephant garlic in there, not the regular little garlic you see, but the elephant. It's milder and it's still very antiseptic. You know, so it doesn't give you the garlic kickback breath. You know, so as we understand the different energies of foods, the electromagnetic energies of food in our body, firstly, we want to divide our day into 3 equal parts of 8 hours. And the most obvious part is when we're asleep. During the sleep cycle, we're actually on a fast. Because as we know, the classical definition of a fast is that nothing gets past your lips, no solid, no water, anything. So in ancient times, when they said that someone fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, they lived on the breath. They weren't drinking somebody's distilled water with lime juice and maple syrup. You know, they was just on the breath. And by the way, anytime you hear the word syrup, it's something that's been cooked down seriously. 50 gallons of maple syrup boils down to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. Your sleeping mode, the fasting mode. And you know, it's something that the English language, the British, didn't miss. Because they made sure that you understand that the first meal you're going to have when you wake up the next day is your breakfast meal. Because you are breaking a fast with that meal first thing in the morning. And if you've studied anything about fasting, it is totally unscientific to break a fast with the traditional breakfast. It's not a breakfast meal we should be eating. We should be having a breakfast time. And when you break a fast, you understand that when you sleep in your belly closes, your stomach closes, and the size of your stomach is your fist. When that empties out, it comes back to this size. So when you open it in the morning, and a lot of breakfast, we do agree with them that it is the most important meal, but we say, don't have a breakfast. Because when you open up that bag so wide, so early in the morning, and stuff it so full with pancakes and hash brown and bacon and granola and cornmeal porridge and all the things that we stuff in there, which are mostly starch, paste, glue, with protein, building foods, first thing in the morning. How are you going to build your body first thing in the morning? And you're just coming off of a fast. And when you're coming off of a fast, you got a lot of waste release floating around in the system. So you're going to build on a dirty, filthy foundation. You're going to push the garbage back down into the tissue with that big breakfast and make sure you seal it because your breakfast is full of starch. You're going to glue it down. Then you understand now that we have to open up that bag slowly. At first, we need to clean it out. We need to wash it out. We need to hose it out. Again, as you take that external shower, please consider it. As a matter of fact, take an internal shower, forget the external, if you have a choice. Because what's manifested on the outside was made on the inside. So if you keep it clean on the inside, by the time it shows up on the outside, you don't need to scrub it and, wax it and scrape it and oil it and grease it and cover it up and seal it up with this and that and trying to camouflage, the bad skin that you made from the inside. So, but don't neglect that internal shower. So you need to flush out in the morning. So ideally in the mornings from 4 a.m. to 12 noon. Because the idea is chirping in your backyard here at 4 a.m. So you're still, on some kind of course that you can, have your connection with nature. So from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m., the fasting mode, this is when the body is breaking down the dead cells and building the new one, the reparation period. So there's a lot of waste, a lot of matter that needs to be released from the body after when you wake up. So ideally from 4 a.m. to 12 noon, that is the elimination cycle. When the body is trained, is focused on emptying out the trash bin, clearing out the waste, the filth. So you get up in the morning and you're running, you're jogging, you're jumping, hopping, skipping, sweating, and just pouring it out through your largest organ of elimination, the skin. But when you get up first thing in the morning, you drink that coconut water. Well, actually, if you're on this clock that we're sharing with you, this our system, when you get up first thing in the morning, you are heading for the throne. You're going to have a bowel movement. And leave the book. You don't have to meditate. Because it's one drop. Boom. And you don't have to push. And when you get back, oh, what a load. And I didn't have to work to get that out. The body is working. The 3 bowel movements a day, oh, please. That's because you're having 3 big, fat, stuffy meals every day. And one is pushing the other one out. Okay, that's better than, 1 or 2 bowel movements a week, as some people, are so clogged up where they at. But every morning it has to drop out. And you'll find you don't have no more bowel movements the rest of the day. One drop, the whole load. One drop. And if it didn't drop then, by the time you drink that coconut water, it's going to drop. And if that doesn't make it happen, an hour after that, you're going to have your fruit juice in the mornings. Fruit juice, orange, apple, you name it. Within an hour, it might drop by then too. Doesn't drop by then. After you have your fruit, an hour after you have the juice, have a big bowl of fruit. Or one fruit, fruit salads or whatever. And with that fiber, it's definitely going to drop. No question about it. The whole load. And this is what we want to do. Clear out that trash bin every morning. You want to get into the digestive system. The thing is over 30 feet long. It's huge, very expensive, very complex. You have to hose it out, sweep it, mop it, scrub it, brush it out. But to come in there in the morning with paste, glue, cement, starch, protein, fat, grease, setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up. And to open up that bag so big and so wide so early in the day, you got to keep it stuffed for the rest of the day. That's why it's the more important meal, because if you open it like that, it triggers overeating for the rest of the day. And it's not going to close again until you go to sleep. So yeah, you get the itis. You know, or you take a siesta, go to sleep. You try to empty it out again. Sleep is critical. That's when the body repairs itself. You need those. And that fasting period is involuntary. We all have to sleep. We all have to go to fast every night. Mother Nature lay us down. And you know what would happen if that safety valve wasn't built into us. We'd be eating 24 hours a day. So we got that one tight. So don't tell anybody you've never fasted. You're a pro at fasting. You've been doing it since birth. So you have your fruits in the morning, or liquids, fibers. So if you have a sugar issue because you've corrupted your body, then do cucumber and tomatoes and lettuce and celery. These things are fine. They'll break down and sweep out. But stay away from the starch, the paste, the glue, the fat, the protein. Those are building foods, and you're not building in the morning. As a matter of fact, in the morning, you have more energy than any other time of the day. But you get up to that big bowl of porridge, and all the blood comes down here trying to digest that. Leaves the brain. No oxygen on the brain. You fill up the little baby's tummy, so fat, send them to school, and then the teacher, put them in these other classes because they hyper, or they can't this, or they want to go to sleep or something like that, because they got all the sugar and all the starch and glue and everything. They're trying to work that off. They're busy. They can't even think about the lesson. They down there breaking down some bad food. That's why your boss wants your brain first thing in the morning, before you lose that energy. Wants your energy first thing. So we have to harness that and not squander it, using the bad foods in the morning. So then you move into your lunch cycle. So from 12 noon, from 4 a.m. to 12 noon, as the sun rises, we rise with the sun. The sun burns the clouds out of the sky, burns the mucus out of our body. All the runny nose, the sneezing, and all that stuff is just pouring out. Elimination all morning. From 12 noon to 8 p.m. is the intake mode. So you're going to put in the building material. We separate our proteins from our starches. So protein for lunch, starch for dinner. If you're eating starch, starch is a totally unnecessary group of food. And one, Mr. Atkins proved that. He got folks off of starch, and they start feeling a little better, but he loaded them up with a whole bunch of dead animal, and he paid the price himself too. But you get rid of that starch, you see a big difference in your life. You do not need that group of food the same way you don't need the animal protein in your body to do what you got to do. But protein for lunch, starch for dinner if you're eating starch. Otherwise, protein for lunch and protein for dinner as well. Again, or better yet, one meal a day in the middle of the afternoon around 3 o'clock. Protein with your electromagnetic foods, your green leafy vegetables, your non-starchy vegetables, and your vegetable fruit. But if you're having the protein for lunch, that lunch mode, around 12 noon, it kicks in by, say, about 11 o'clock. You have your coconut water again. Okay, I have 2 coconut waters in the morning. At lunch, 11 o'clock, have 1 coconut water. Wait an hour, then you're going to have your nut milk, or your seed milk, your liquid protein, almond milk, pumpkin. And this is what you make, not something you go buy in somebody's box. You get an almond-flavored water in those boxes. So, or whatever, they put in it. But protein for lunch, do the liquid protein, the nut milk, seed milk, Then wait an hour and you have your lunch. So by 1 o'clock or so, you have your nice nut meat or your cashew cheese for lunch with a big salad. 25% of the meal is protein. 75% is the electromagnetic, those vegetables, those greens, and those shredded. Carrots are light starch, so those can work with the vegetables. The beets are light. That jicama is pure water. There's no starch in jicama. These are root foods that are perfectly safe, you know, as very low or minimal starchy foods. Your green lettuces and all of those types of things, your tomatoes and cucumbers and sprouts and these things. These are the foods you want to have to complement the protein. And then you go on to your lunch, your dinner mode. So you're going to be finish eating by 6 o'clock or so. Because if you're going to bed at 8, you need to get food out of the system. You need 2 hours. So your last meal is about 6 if you're going to hit the bed at 8. So you start that cycle at 4 o'clock. Glass of Coke, 1 coconut water. Wait an hour, your vegetable juice now. Carrot, cucumber, celery, beets, some green leaf, a little garlic or something in it. Put an herb in there. You could put some basil in your green juice, your vegetable juice. You could even drop a green apple in there, one of those tart Granny Smith. Give it a little flavor, a little vibration. You could even put pineapple in your vegetable juice. Apples go fine. Papaya is perfectly safe to combine with vegetables, with all those digestive enzymes. So your vegetable juice for dinner, then you follow that with your dinner meal. So 75% vegetables, the electromagnetic foods, 25% starch or protein. So the starches, we use the grains. It's only been 10,000 years that human beings been eating grains. So we're not rice eaters by nature. We've been here for at least 1 million years. And for 10,000 years now, we're trying to figure out how to adapt to eating grains. Grains are seeds for cereal grass. They're supposed to grow into grass, and we're not grass eaters. We're not cows and goats and horses. We don't have our eyes on the side of our head. We don't chew with a 4-way action up and down and side, and triturate the greens and break it down into a mulch. And we don't have multiple chambers like a cow where you can flip broken down green pulp into these stomach chambers and extract the chlorophyll and the iron and the calcium and all of that. And we don't drop the big dung like the cow. Because we locking it down with some greasy potatoes or something else. And most of us have been brought up to cooking the life out of the greens. Boil down what is that? Collard greens and those types of things. That's not the way to go. But we're not goats, we're not animals like that. We can't do that kind of stuff. But we recognize now that we are in the 21st century and human beings have made some technology that are really beneficial to us as well. So you got the juicers, juice your greens, drink them. Drink your greens, drink them. So you start your starches with your vegetables for dinner and you're set. Then the weekly cycle, fast once a week, 36 hours. Traditionally, most people fast on the Sabbath and Saturday. That fast begins at sunset on Friday, 8 p.m. after your last meal. And don't break that fast at the end of the day, Saturday. You don't break a fast. You don't have breakfast at the end of a day. You break a fast in the morning, the next morning, Sunday morning. You break a fast at the end of the day, you're going to overeat the rest of the night and defeat the purpose of having fasted. But of course, if you're in a spiritual fast, and this is what your spiritual scriptures treat you, you're going to get the spiritual benefit, but you're going to get sick. As Reverend Malcolm will say, Christians get sick for the same reason non-Christians get sick. You eat the same thing and praying over it. It's not going to make it any holy and make you healthy. It's going to make you just as sick. So let's beware. Fast once a week, fast twice a month on the full moon and new moon, or if you're living in a female body, fast on the first day of your cycle and the middle day of the cycle. Then you do the seasonal fast, or the change of each seasons for 3 days. And this is the sun-fired feasting, fasting, and healing system, living in harmony with nature and really respecting our interrelationship with all of the other living creatures on the planet, not killing them and slaughtering them for food, because they'll kill us back. Cause the death of that chicken is going to kill you. unfortunately, your death is not as swift and fast and over with like theirs. Yours is sufferation, pain, and headache. And it's very expensive. Nursing homes, old age homes, hospitals, all this stuff. So we say, it's not the food in your life, but the life in your food that nourishes. So keep strong, walk tall, and eat right. Eat great, and keep it sun-fired. Eat the sun. Don't cook the sun out of your food. Live in the sun. Go out in the sun. Get a little more sunshine in your life. And if you're living in places where you can't get enough sunshine, you really need to eat a whole lot more of it. So eat those papayas and lemons and all those sun-bright foods. Thank you so much. Lots of love, and we're looking forward to sharing a whole lot more with you.